And can you tell us about what you're seeing in AI? How is it being used in the learning space today? You know, maybe over the last couple of years, but also as we look forward with ChatGPT and all of those interesting things. What are some of the techniques or things that you're seeing learning group organizations do?
Prior to March of last year, when ChatGPT exploded in the marketplace, what we really saw, or should have been seeing in the business that we have, is personalization and gamification, right? Learning paths, personalized learning paths, structure for gamification to kind of, ump people up and give them direction. So if they scored well in the gamification score, they got to do extra things and cool fun toys and all of that. Duolingo, probably one of the best examples of that. But then we saw what ChatGPT could do. And this was less than a year ago, right? In March is when it came out last year. And that explosion of generative AI is now the foundation of what people think when they hear augmented intelligence or AI, right? They're really thinking about generative AI and what tools like ChatGPT can do. So we're seeing that everywhere now. We're seeing additions of generative AI tools into content creation, right? Everybody that builds content or that allows you to, that has some kind of authoring tool, including Leah, right, is working with you to get some kind of generative AI that will help you build out that content, whether it is, I saw a really good example a couple of weeks ago where they took the tech library on a particular topic, probably about 30 pages of documentation on a particular slice of the product, and turned that into an entire learning plan.
Cool.
All we did is we said that there are some basic assumptions. We want this to be micro learning. We want this content to be no longer than 7 minutes. That's their definition of micro learning. And they put some more parameters around the request. Generative AI went out, looked at all of the content, and returned a amazingly solid outline in about maybe a minute and a half. And had I been doing that manually, that's a completely different story, right? I would have had to go through and read all of the content and then try to figure out how to put it into the learning style that I prefer when I write, when I create. I'm a big process-driven, jobs to be done kind of person. So I'm always looking at things of how does this tool fit into the process that my people will be using. And so that part of it takes me a long time to get that structure. Once I become much more literate in the product, I still have to read the documentation, right? As we release new functionalities, we have to do more and make edits. And so I was completely surprised. The other example that we talk about is moving to video, right? And there's a lot of tools out there now that will do speech to text, text to speech, and add in talking heads if you want talking heads associated with it, whether it's my head or an avatar, right? It doesn't really matter. I haven't done my own yet because I'm not that, but the structure for things like Videate, Synthesia, the guys at Cluso, some new guys in the marketplace, those kinds of tools out there really help us to do that level of content. And my Synthesia example, I'm an Excel SME. I've taught Excel for a very long time, almost from the day it was created. And the example that I used for the Synthesia example was a VLOOKUP. I want to do a training on VLOOKUP. In real life, for me to go out and find a data set that I needed to use to work with this example, build out the content, record the content, edit the content, and prep it to be produced out to whatever my end product is going to be. It'd probably take me at least half a day, like 3.5 hours, 47 minutes.
Wow. Huge
So
productivity.
the productivity gain that I got just by initializing it in using generative AI, I let it build the outline. I let it go in and create a script. It set up, I had to go in and edit the script for sure. You know, it wasn't perfect. It doesn't like the word VLOOKUP, for example. It didn't know how to say it. It tried to phonetically pronounce VLOOKUP. So I had to
Yeah.
go in and edit the script so that it said VEE lookup. But that's not a problem, right? For me, I still saved 2.5 hours
Hmm.
in my workload. So we'll see that part of it. But also remember that AI is not just generative, right? It's not just about content. It's about data analysis. ChatGPT 4 and a slew of existing tools
Yeah.
out there help you do data analysis. I can upload large sets of data, CSV files, Excel spreadsheets, content from downloads from other sources, right? Databases full of info, and let the AI tools spit it out into a nice, pretty chart, a dynamic chart, right? Something that will change as the data lives in a data lake, for example. As the data gets populated into the data lake, then we can turn all of that into live updates on scorecards, right? Health cards.
Yeah.
Or again, take your pick, right? We've got all different kinds of options. And how do we, I'm working on a concept now that is going to be kind of like my 2024 project is, what does an ideal customer education health card look like? And how do we integrate that health card into the health score of customer success,
Yeah. Yes.
right? All through AI, right? All using AI tools. So